Good evening and happy Thursday, Fair Gamers. It's Graham back again with another episode of Fair Game Favorites. The two topics that we are talking about tonight are, of course, my top travel tips, which is a lot of alliteration. A series of wonderful, compact, lightweight games that are wonderful for travel. And I'm excited to get into that, of course, but we've got some news because this weekend is our Games for Brains fundraiser. We've partnered with a local game design company called Gray Matters Games, and they're working with an Alzheimer's research association called the Longest Day. And so the three of us are working together to try to raise some money for Alzheimer's research, and we have a lot of wonderful opportunities to facilitate that. So, as a reminder, this is a live stream, so if you've got questions burning in your heart, please feel free to comment away. If you've got other suggestions for great travel games that you and your family have really enjoyed, I'd love to hear about those too, so go ahead and throw down some comments. I am going to start off by giving us some information about that fundraiser. So, like I said, it's happening in accordance with the Longest Day and Gray Matters Games in our Downers Grove location. Specifically, the main events are all on Saturday itself, and then we also have a silent auction that begins on Saturday morning and will go through until Sunday evening. So lots of great stuff going on, and we thought it would be fun to kind of give you the first scoop here for what kinds of great deals and other things to expect this weekend at our fundraiser. So I've got a pile of goodies that I want to show you for the silent auction here, but first the brief rundown. So certain items are going to be listed 20, 30, 40, 50, even 60% off some items. One-day sale on Saturday just at Fair Game Downers Grove. Now on top of that, if you are feeling generous and you want to give to our cause, we are obviously accepting donations, but when you go to check out, you're going to get an additional discount based on rolling a 20-sided die, which if you've ever shopped with us on Black Friday or other big occasions, that's something we've been known to do. However, this time it gets a little bit of an added twist. So you get to roll a d20 that's going to give you a random number between 1 and 20, and that will be your percentage discount. However, if you have donated that day of at least $5, you get to roll the die. If you roll $10, you get to roll 2 dice and take the higher of the 2. If you donate at least $15, that's 3 dice, the highest of the 3, and so on and so forth off of all of your regularly priced items. The more that you're able to donate, the more dice you're able to roll and increase those savings that you're going to get off of your regularly priced items on Saturday. So really fun, really exciting discounts happening on Saturday. I want to get back to the silent auction stuff, but first let's go to our main topic, which is, of course, my tip-top travel tips. There's too many T's in there, but let's start off with something that I think is great for all audiences. We've all played Yahtzee. It's a lot of fun. There's only so much Yahtzee you can take, but there are a lot of great spin-offs of that kind of game where you're trying to roll dice and make the most with what you roll. So what I wanted to talk about today is Bloom, which is from Game Right Games. Bloom is great for Yahtzee. It's made by the same folks that did Quicks, if any of you are familiar with that game as well. And in Bloom, you have some colored dice, and then you can see on the back of the box here, you get a scorecard with all these wonderful flowers. See, we're getting into the summertime spirit here. At the start of every round, we're going to roll this pool of colored dice, and then in player order, we're going to each choose one of these colored die. If I choose the pink 4, for example, that means I get to choose 4 pink flowers to circle, and they all have to be kind of in a clump. You'll notice there's some white flowers, those are wilds. There's also a white die. That could be any color that you would like as well. and you're trying to do a couple of things. Obviously, you want to circle the most number of flowers on your little scorecard, but also there's some other things to think about. If I don't know if you can see it very well in the stream video here, but there's divided into these little 3x4, flower pots or flower beds, if you want to call them that. And if you complete a flower bed, you're going to get bonus points at the end of the game. So you're kind of trying to very efficiently fill out these different little flower beds. And on top of that, if you're the first player to circle all of the purple flowers, for instance, you're going to get a bunch of extra bonus points at the end of the game. If you're the second player, you get some bonus points at the end of the game. All that to say, you could race to get all of one color. You can try to be very efficient and fill out your flower beds. There's a lot to think about here, and it's a little bit different than Yahtzee, but it's the same kind of feel. This plays up to 5 people. I think most games that I've played of this have been about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on how leisurely we're playing, and it's great for all ages. So this one is a surefire winner, and like I said, it's nice and small. It's going to fit in your luggage. It's not going to add any weight to your carry-ons, etc. So Bloom is fantastic. One thing that we're talking about tonight, if you're just tuning into the stream right now, is our Longest Day Alzheimer's fundraiser this weekend. And we've got some really cool stuff up for silent auction. Specifically, I have a pile of goodies here that were donated to us by Steve Erickson. So big thanks to Steve. Your generosity will be noted and appreciated. This is a very old printing of the 1976 printing of Diplomacy, which is considered one of the forefathers of social board gaming, if you've been in the industry for decades and decades. I thought Diplomacy was an older game. It's 1976? This is an oldie but a goodie, man. Look at this sucker. It's one of these old bookcase games. This is going to be up for silent auction this weekend. All the components are still here. This is in... it is definitely a used copy of the game, but it's got the board, it's got all the old maps and stuff. This is a real treasure, I think, and it's going to go to someone who really appreciates this. So if this interests you, this is going to be up for a silent auction. Again, that starts this Saturday morning. You'll have to stop into our Downers Grove location and check out what kind of items we have for sale there. Moving along, let's get goofy a little bit. I've got a recommendation for a travel game for you. It's called Trash Pandas. Of course, referring to the cutest, the loveliest little raccoons. Little cute raccoons. This is a game about hoarding trash. There's some really fun elements to this. Essentially, players take turns rolling a die. And when you roll a die, it's going to reward you. You're going to be able to collect a card of whatever the die comes up as. So there's a kitten card, there's a doggo card, there's different food cards, things that you might find in trash cans. And when you roll a die, you can choose to either collect one card of every type that you've rolled so far, or you can choose to continue rolling. And you might see where this is going. Let's say you roll a kitten card. Okay, great. Let's keep going. I want more than just a kitten card, so you're going to roll again. Okay, I got a pizza pie. Okay, sounds good. We're going to keep rolling. I find a banana peel. Okay, keep rolling. If you roll a symbol that you've already rolled this round, however, you bust. You've gone too far, you've gotten too greedy, and you lose the rest of your turn, and you get nothing. You get nothing. So there's a bit of a push your luck element. So let's say you have been shrewd, you've played conservatively, you roll 3 different symbols, you're feeling good, you say, okay, I don't want to roll any more dice. What do I do with these symbols? Well, you're going to get one card that corresponds to each one of those symbols, and then those cards are all action cards, but they can also be worth points at the end of the game, and you have to decide if you're going to stash those cards away for points, or if you want to keep those cards in your hand to play for the action. So there's, you can see that there's a series of meaningful decisions that are going to happen. The action cards in this game they're going to help you avoid busting if you're rolling dice too much. You got a little dice happy, or they're going to help you steal cards from other players or other effects like that. So, do you want to play the card? Do you want to stash the card for points? Do you want to keep rolling? Do you want to call it? Have you pushed your luck far enough? Those are the questions you're going to be asking yourself in Trash Pandas. So, look at this. Small, lightweight. You can fly with this. You can put it in the back of your car. You can stash it in the glove box. I don't care. You do you. Let's talk about another silent auction gift. You know what? This is a fun one. Apologizing for the shaking of the camera here. I didn't know that this existed, but you know what? I know there's some Ghostbusters fans out there, and this is the Ghostbusters role-playing game. So if you like Dungeons & Dragons, you like World of Darkness, or the one that's for 5 and up from Mighty Cook Games, No Thank You Evil. Woof! I almost forgot it there. Those are all role-playing games where you get to take on the role of a main character in a story. One person's going to be the storyteller or the game master, and they're going to kind of set the scene, and then the rest of the players at the table are all main characters in this storytelling experience. You can play for a couple hours. You can play for a couple days. You can play for every other weekend for 2 years. You can do whatever you want with role-playing games, and this is the Ghostbusters version from West End Games. Looks like the printing date on this is copyright 1986. So that's right, this box is as old as I am. So this is up for silent auction this weekend. Thanks to Steve Erickson for donating this to our Alzheimer's fundraiser with the Longest Day and Gray Matters games. Speaking of storytelling, there is a very cool item here. I don't have a ton of experience with this, but it's fascinating to me. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. We have Rory's Story Cubes. And Rory's Story Cubes is an activity. I don't even know if I would call it a game, but it is, you have to use your creative writing skills to tap into your Rory's Story Cubes. So the idea here is that as a group, we're going to roll these 9 dice. I'll put them all out on the table. There are symbols on here that are up to you to interpret. So, for example, this one in the corner features someone dancing with some musical notes. This one's got someone reading a book. This one has aliens exploding something. You're going to roll all these dice, and then one at a time you're going to choose these dice to add to your story that you're going to tell together as a group. It's fascinating to me. The most applicable, the thing I want to talk about is this week I was over in Hinsdale at the community house running a kids improv camp through Stage Door Fine Arts. Another wonderful local business. We love them. And as part of improv training, improvisational comedy training, we had to learn how to create scenes on the spot, which meant that we had to learn the basics of a story. Why would you watch some sort of fiction? Well, it's because there has to be a conflict and there has to be a resolution. And we talked about that during improv camp. I bring it up with story cubes because you're going to want to do the same thing. This is an opportunity to really flex those creative writing muscles, and it's a really good tool for teaching kids about how stories are told and how compelling they can be if you do them right. So the recommendation from the website is that you do this as a 3-act play. Your first 3 dice are going to be setting the story, setting the characters, and creating a problem. Then your next 3 dice are going to be creating the journey. What have our characters encountered? How did that affect them? That kind of stuff. And then your last 3 dice are going to be resolving the conflict, kind of giving us an epilogue for the story itself, but then also telling us where our characters ended up, right? So that's what Rory's Story Cubes is all about. We have a couple different versions of this. So this is this is called the Actions box. There's also a Star Wars version that we have. So you got your Leia, your Stormtrooper. We got a TIE Fighter here as well. obviously really, really cool, and a good way to like rope your kids into like teaching them about creative writing and like creating outlines for speaking and things like that. Because you put an Ewok on it, and all of a sudden your kids are interested, right? Obviously, if you have multiple packs, mix them together. Why not pick 9 dice randomly out of the collection of story cubes that you have, and you're going to have a really wonderful, replayable activity that you get to work together as a family. Lot of creativity here, a lot of fun, and I'd really encourage you to check it out if you are a creative writing kind of person, or if you want to encourage that with your family. So, this weekend we're doing a fundraiser for the Longest Day, and we have some items up for silent auction that begins Saturday morning. And this is a funky one. This is peak sword and sorcery genre. I'm talking Conan. I'm talking Xena before she was Xena. This is a Atlantis 1982 calendar, and it's incredible. It's from the brothers Hildebrandt, are the artists. The cover art is copyright 1981, I mean, this is obviously you're getting this for the art. You don't need the dates that much, but like there's some really cool, inspiring stuff. Speaking of creative writing, base a story on one page of this. What if you had a monthly family story night where you start writing a story, you start playing a role-playing game, maybe you're using some story cubes or some other writing exercise, and you're going to use a piece of art from this book as the basis, as the jumping off point for this story. There's some really beautiful stuff in here. I don't want to show you everything. We'll make you come into Fair Game Downers Grove this weekend to check it out for the silent auction, but this is a really funky retro piece that we will have up for silent auction. While we're on the topic, I gotta show you something else. This is called Empire of the Petal Throne, and I mean this is we're going back before vintage. Now we're getting into storybook style art, but this is a game copyright 1975 from Tactical Studies Rules by Professor M.A.R. Barker. What? What even is this? There's nothing on the back here. This is an analog to original Dungeons and Dragons, before first edition Dungeons and Dragons, when Gary Gygax and a couple other folks got together. They put together a rule set for playing individual characters in a war game. This is a spin-off of that, or inspired by original Dungeons and Dragons. Again, this is called Empire of the Petal Throne. I'm just gonna open this up. I mean, there's not a lot of these that were made. This is a spiral bound book that looks like it got made at like Kinko's and or the library. Yeah, Kyle says in chat, what, for real? Yeah, this is a parallel to original D&D before first edition. So it's not affiliated with Gary or TSR, Wizards of the Coast, any of the original Dungeons and Dragons stuff, but here's 2 Cerudia in a layer, whatever that is. If you're a sucker for like this old school art, you're gonna find it in this book. We've got crazy kinds of like monsters and things like this. Check this out. This is some kind of sealed map. It's a hex map. Watch out, we're getting into deep stuff. Hi, Kyle Comstock, what's good tonight, man? This is the city of Jakala, as it says right here, on this old hex map. This feels like, I almost said it was like vinyl. This is like an old kind of paper sealant that gives it like a texture. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know, some kind of like tablecloth kind of seal, if that makes any kind of sense. This is wild. There's 1, 2, 3 maps in here. How cool is this? Oh my gosh. Nerds, watch out. Look at these charts. Equipment encumbrances. Oh yeah, there it is. That's the good stuff. Levels of experience. This is how you level up your character. Holy cow. How much fun is this? This is called Empire of the Petal Throne, and we have this for sale in our silent auction this weekend. Again, big thanks to Steve Erickson for donating this, right? Let's get back to our main topic here. I don't have a whole lot else to show you except for one of my favorite new card games. It's a cooperative group game that's come out, and it's called Similo. This is great for travel because it comes in this tiny little box, and it's just a deck of cards. So you could even not bring the box and shrink it down, or put it in a baggie, or do whatever you got to do. But in Similo, it's a cooperative guessing game where one person knows there's 12 faces, 12 characters that are laid out on the table. One person is the clue giver, and they know which one of those 12 is correct. Everyone else is trying to guess the correct answer by eliminating wrong answers. So, with that concept in mind, the clue giver can only communicate in pictures of other characters. They can only communicate in cards, and when they lay a card, they're going to say the correct answer is either similar to or the opposite of this card that I'm laying down. And if I said that right, the correct answer is similar to or the opposite of the card that I'm laying down. So, a little bit like Guess Who, that old game from the 80s and 90s. Sorry if I said old game and you're offended by it. I'm over it though. So, if you're trying to get someone to guess Cleopatra, I might say similar to King Tut because of the Egyptian connection, or I might say similar to Queen Elizabeth, or sure, Queen Victoria, we'll say, because they're both ladies. Or maybe I'm going to say similar to Genghis Khan because they're both, the art on these cards both has gold headgear of some kind. There's a lot of ways you can communicate, but because you can only say similar to or opposite of, then everyone else is left guessing, oh my gosh, is it similar because they're both dudes, or is it similar because of the hats? I don't know, and you have to discuss this as a group. Similo gets really fun when you add in different versions. So we have Similo Animals, which is obviously very youth-friendly. Similo History, if you want to get your historical characters in there. Similo Myths is specifically focused on like Greek myths, Greek and Roman mythology. Now start mixing them up, and you have to say, well, Zeus is pretty similar to Leonardo because they both got big old beards. Or if you're trying to get someone to guess the lion, and you have to somehow put down Genghis Khan, I don't know. Good luck. Ton of fun. Rounds of this go pretty quickly. You can play a couple rounds after dinner. You can play around while you're waiting for your food at a restaurant or after you've unpacked at the hotel. Like I said, these are also really tiny, lightweight. You should totally bring them with you while you travel this summer. All right, well, you've made it to the end of the stream. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. A couple more details about the fundraiser this weekend. If you missed the beginning of the stream, we have specific items discounted heavily on Saturday at our Fair Game Downers Grove store. I'm talking 20, 30, 40, 50, even up to 60% off on specific items. On top of that, if you are a donor, thank you so much for your generosity. You have an extra savings opportunity off of full price items because when you get to the register, you will get to roll one 20-sided die for every $5 you've donated. And once you've rolled all your dice up at the register, it's going to give you a number between 1 and 20. You're going to take the best number out of those dice that you roll, and that is going to be your percentage discount off of all of those regularly priced items. So if you donate $10, you're going to roll 2 D20, as we would say in the biz. You roll a 5, but then you roll a 15. Now you're saving 15% off all of your regularly priced items at the counter. Fantastic opportunity. If you donate $60 to our cause, thank you so much. This is going to Alzheimer's research through the Longest Day Foundation. And then you will get to roll 12 dice and take the highest out of all of those, which means that you're going to get pretty darn close to saving 20% off of stuff that wasn't even on sale. So fantastic opportunities this weekend. I have 2 more quick items to show you for our for some of the silent auction items. Again, the silent auction begins on Saturday morning. Just to flash some stuff up on the screen here, this is called Stellar Conquest. It says the classic game of societies in conflict. This is going to be similar to like a diplomacy, which if you missed it earlier in the stream, check out this way super cool 1976 copy of Diplomacy, also in the silent auction. I've got a RuneQuest game called RuneQuest Vikings, Nordic role-playing in the world of RuneQuest. So again, another role-playing game similar to the ones that we've already discussed tonight, like the Ghostbusters role-playing game. That's going to be for silent auction. This is an expansion for a game called Nuclear War. This is called Nuclear Proliferation. Look at this art. What is this? This is the juicy good stuff, man. This is let's see, what's the year on this? 1983. So we've got some really fun old stuff that maybe you'd like to pick up, maybe you'd enjoy. Here's the big one that I saved best for last. You made it to the end of the stream, so you get to know what's maybe my favorite item out of all of the silent auction stuff. And this is a 1978 second printing of Cosmic Encounter, the science fiction game for everyone. Cosmic Encounter has had a long and storied history, being published by multiple companies, currently being published by Fantasy Flight Games, and this is a very early version of this. Not only that, but they made 9 expansions for this game. And this box, according to my research, has the first 7 of those expansions included. The rules are available online. This one does not have all of the rules in it, just for some of the expansions, but it has all kinds of additional aliens, so you can play as the plant, you can play as the mesmer, you can play as the philanthropist. Wait, what? The philanthropist? They must be giving to the longest day. Thanks, Kyle. I do think it is very cool. Also, I'm sorry for that joke. That was pretty rough. You could play as the laser alien. There's the parasite, the gambler, the diplomat. If you're familiar with the modern version of Cosmic Encounter, a lot of these aliens have made it up into that modern version. But check this out. We've got enough tokens for 6 people to play. We have the expansion that introduces the flare cards, which are like race-specific abilities, alien race-specific abilities. We've got the cone. We've got the lucre, the space bucks that you get to trade and make extra deals with. This one comes with the giant hexagonal tiles. It's got the moon tokens. You can't forget about the moon tokens. Look at these little moon. They're not even punched out yet. This is a really, really cool old version of Cosmic Encounter, and I know someone is going to love it. So again, huge thank you to Steve Erickson giving us a 1978 copy of Cosmic Encounter. It includes the first 7 expansions. Really fun. Also, look at this great art. Man, this collection, the owner of this collection had great taste. Let me just tell you that. This is the good vintage stuff. All right, enough of me gush about old nerdy board games. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for Fair Game Favorites. I hope you enjoyed some of the games that I reviewed tonight, including Trash Pandas, the raccoon stashing game. I've got Bloom, which is where you're planting flowers in a Yahtzee-type experience by rolling dice. Speaking of dice, I've got Rory's Story Cubes. We carry... right now I've got some Rory Story Cubes actions as well as the Star Wars version, and you can teach creative writing, story structure, 3-act plays. There's a lot of learning opportunities for you and your kids here. Really innovative product that we like a lot. And then of course a cooperative clue giving game called Similo, where you're trying to get your group to guess the correct character from a selection of 12, communicating only in pictures. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. We hope to see you this weekend for our fundraiser. Again, that's all happening in Fair Game, Downers Grove on Saturday. Silent auction begins Saturday and goes through to Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next week on Fair Game Favorites. Oh no, wait, where's the button to finish?